In a game as storied as Melee, tech runs deep. And in a game like Melee, there's some tech that is so incredibly niche that it becomes a badge of honor to know about it. It could be something flashy, but doesn't actually do anything in-game, like invisible shines. This won't help you win the tournament, but dang, it'll look cool. Or it could be a tech that does have gameplay ramifications, but it could be so difficult that I could only find one clip of someone doing it on purpose in a real match.
What? I don't know what just happened.
But what's the most niche underground tech that still sees play every day? Something that 90% of Melee players have never heard of, but if you've ever watched a full tournament, I guarantee you've seen before. Something that's used in the majority of sets for a meta-relevant character. This is a tech that only works for one character in 2 controller ports and only works on 1 frame of each game. But this is something that still is used in almost every set by this character. You've already seen it in the background a few times already. Today, we're talking about the Go desync. The Go desync is an Ice Climber specific technique that allows the climbers to start the game with both characters being controlled independently, or desynced. You are controlling Nana and Popo at different times. It only works on the first 2 GameCube controller ports, and it only works on the first frame of each game, or when Go is on the screen. So you can understand why this works, or why it's so important in tournament. First, I need to talk about how the Ice Climbers work. The Ice Climbers have the distinction of being the first puppet character introduced into Smash. Now, there's a long lineage of puppet or duo characters in fighting games, but this was the first for a platform fighter. So we have the player-controlled character Popo and the AI climber Nana. Okay, are we good? So I actually started writing a fake sponsor read because I lost my job a few months ago, and I do need money to eat food. And then 8 Into the AM hit me up to ask about doing a sponsorship. So huge thanks to Into the AM for sponsoring this video. If you know me outside of Smash, you know that I'm big into style and fashion. And core to any good wardrobe is good, high quality basics, like what this guy's wearing right now. You want solid, high quality fundamentals that you can mix and match. And Into the AM has that in spades with their basic tee 3-pack. Plus, more flashy graphic tees in order to spice things up a little bit. Look at this dope astronaut dude. Whenever I travel for commentary, my dad asks me for swag or merch as a big ongoing joke because specifically he wants it for free. And he wants it every single time. I made sure to order something for him too. He's big into pickleball, it's dope, he'll love it. That's not actually important to the ad, but it was important to me. Make sure to check out intotheam.com/wisely for 10% off site-wide. And now, back to being nerds again. Now, Nana lives in 2 states of existence. The primary mode, where she copies everything Popo does, but 6 frames later, and her AI mode, where she follows a clear set of guidelines to get back to Popo as quickly as possible and hit people she doesn't like. Now, Nana goes into this mode when she's away from Popo, usually from getting hit or split up in some way. Fun fact, you can actually see the area of influence Popo has on her by breaking your shield on purpose. Because Ice Climbers can light shield and hard shield at the same time, you can have just Popo break his shield. Yes, this is a weird character. But when Popo's shield is broken, you can still move around as Nana, just 6 frames later. And so you can see exactly where she breaks, splits up, and has to figure out how to get back again. This actually showcases something. When Nana is still under the player control, but doing something different than Popo is, she's existing in a third secret state that we call desynced. So if Nana can still follow inputs even when Popo can't, Are there other ways to desync the climbers? Yeah, there's like 100. If you've watched literally any competitive Melee with ice climbers in it, you've seen this before. But if you haven't and you stumbled across this video somehow, hey, how's it going? Hope you're doing well and having a good time. So, different ways you can desync the climbers. Well, you can spot dodge, you can roll, you can dash dance, you can get hit by a laser on purpose, you can L cancel in between when the two climbers land. Basically, any way where you can get Nana to respond to a move while Popo is in lag from a previous action. And Melee made it so that Nana can buffer certain actions, presumably so that it's easier to control them when they're together. But since Popo can't buffer these moves, it actually leads to a lot of situations where you can have the two climbers alternating between actions, because you're going to do one with Nana that Popo can't follow. While Nana's in the lag of that option, you do another one with Popo, and then you start repeating that. And at this point, you are playing a totally different video game. This is not Smash anymore, you are playing a mini RTS with two characters. Basically, you're alternating between the two characters constantly, and it is a little confusing, but my brain is fundamentally broken because I've been playing this character for nearly a decade, and it is just how my brain works. Sometimes controlling just one character is actually pretty hard for me, and that is a weird problem to have. I don't get it either. Choosing when to play synced and when to play desynced is critical to unlocking the full Ice Climbers game plan in Melee. Sometimes you want the hitting power of both climbers together, because you do way more damage, and that also means you're going to do a lot more knockback. But sometimes you want the option coverage that desyncs provide. Desyncs are generally a little bit more risky, since it makes it easier for them to be split up and then someone will take Nana for a ride. But desyncs are the only reason this character is good or even interesting, because you can do things like have Nana cover the ledge while Popo's on stage, have it so that one is sending out an ice block but the other's covering the anti-air. There's a lot of different things you can do with this. But those are all desyncs the player has to set up first. What if we could just let the game do all the work?
Alright.
Whoa!
So
Wait, did you see that start?
Yeah, that was...
That start where the ice block was on the top platform and the bottom.
Right.
So either start that left and did, either go to the bottom or go to the top real quickly, would have gotten covered by the ice block.
Yep, it's layers, Blur.
It turns out you can desync just by holding a button when the game starts. If you do this, you will immediately start the game desynced. The reason this works is due to how the game loads in characters. Nana actually starts the game in a desync state before syncing up with Popo. So, if you hold an input, she will buffer that move on the first available frame, which happens to be the very first frame of the game, or on round start. If you don't hold a move, she'll immediately sync up with it. And remember, this only works in ports 1 or 2. For some reason, God knows why, Melee loads the characters into the game in order of the ports, and it doesn't restrict you from moving once your character's loaded in. It's only the smallest difference, but it's the reason characters like Fox and Falco with fast move speeds are actually able to get certain things going before the round officially starts, or go is off the screen. You can actually see the difference just by loading in 4 Foxes and seeing when each of them falls off the Angel platforms. So in just ports 1 or 2, Ice Climbers load in and are actionable before the game resyncs the two climbers. In ports 3 or 4, you don't have control of the climbers before Nana syncs up, because it hasn't let the character move yet. Just keep that in mind when plugging in at your local. But when you're all cozy at home, at your nice desk doing some slippy matchmaking, don't worry, it automatically forces one player to be in port 1 and one player to be in port 2, which means you can always do this if you're online. So, through the magic of silly character design and Melee being programmed with duct tape, we now have a special technique that only works with one character on the very first frame of the game and only in 2 controller ports. And this technique has massive ramifications for tournaments. Your opponent plays a fast character that likes to run into center stage on game start? Drop an ice block on them. You're starting on a stage like Yoshi's, where you're going to be close together anyways on round start. Drop an ice block on them. If you're on FD, maybe you hold back and you just wave dash in. See, these are good and smart reasons to do the go desync, but there's also very funny ones that I'm not going to technically suggest, but I do think are worth doing because it makes me laugh. Like, you've been playing against a Falcon that really likes doing round start knee just to see if they can cheese you. Just start with a Blizzard. It's bad, but it's really funny when it works. Even if your opponent holds back and they don't run into center stage, often this means that you've just now gotten stage control and you have a Blizzard wall or a desync wall already set up. It's definitely better in some matchups more than others. But if you think they're gonna try to go to the middle of the stage and you know a desync's gonna hit them there, let it rip. In fact, I did some research. Yeah, I do that in videos sometimes. Not often, but sometimes. Through watching a ton of sets at Melee majors, including top Ice Climber reps, I saw the Go desync in over 1/3 of games and 2/3 of sets. It's really good. This is something you absolutely have seen or have even been hit by, and most of you guys had no idea that it existed. And now, when your local Ice Climbers hits you with it, you can nod knowingly. Also, sorry for tricking you into learning how Ice Climbers work. Thank you so much for checking this out, and thanks again to Into the AM for sponsoring this video. Remember, the link is in the description for 10% off shirts that I'm wearing right now. If you want to support me directly in a non-clothing related manner, channel memberships start at just $2 and are a phenomenal way to just get some behind the scenes footage, cut content, thumbnails, stuff like that. But really, it's just a way to support me directly for folks that want to be able to do that. Think of it like a Patreon, just all on YouTube. And if more fighting game and Smash knowledge piques your interest, check out this video that I made that's all about box and leverless controllers.